guys, welcome back to Urban Rhino Tutorials. On this tutorial I want to show you how to create a glowing light effect. So as you can see, I have Maleficent here. I have already edited the picture for the most part. I changed Olivia's eye color. She had brown eyes. She generally has brown eyes. And if I zoom in here, you can see, so we've already done like the dodge and burn. Obviously I completed the composite, moved her over from the original picture and did all of that. So after I get done showing you how to make this glowing light, so I want to make the staff look like it's glowing, a kind of a green, then I will go ahead and kind of backtrack and do a speed up version of how I did all of the editing to get to this point. So we'll start with the glowing light, and then you'll see the full speed edit version of this photo, and then you'll see the start and finish. So to begin with this, let me zoom back out here. You want to begin by tracing the area that you want to make glowing. So I want to make this top gold part kind of a glow, like a lime green or kind of a chartreuse color. So in order to do that, I'm going to use my selection tool because it's round. If you wanted, for instance, if I was trying to make her whole body glow, so if you have an object or a shape that is not, you know, a circle, a square, something pretty simple that you can just kind of use the selection tool on, you could use the magnetic lasso tool or the lasso tool and kind of select the very outer edge of everything. But again, since I'm just doing this little part here, I can select it. I don't want to get her hand. And let me zoom in a little bit, make things a little easier. I'm just trying to get the basic shape. You don't have to get, you know, too perfect with this because there's going to be such a glow to it. You'll never see if it's, you know, not perfectly outlined. So just get the basic here, a little bit out. Okay. Well, sometimes the selection tool can be a little finicky there. Okay, so I've got that. If you, with your mouse, or if you're working on a laptop, just want to right click and, oh, I'm on the wrong layer here. Make sure that you have a blank, just empty layer created. Okay, so I have this one. So you'll see all these other layers here. That was me. I was kind of just practicing ahead of time to find the right action I wanted to use and the right opacity of each layer. That way when I'm making this tutorial, I'm not kind of experimenting, I guess, and I can tell you exactly what would make this particular picture successful. So I've created an empty layer. I have the top part, like the ball, I guess, of the staff selected. I'm going to right click and hit stroke. 30 is good, and what that's going to do is that's going to give me a nice thick line where this dotted line is right now, where the selection tool is. I'm going to do the center, which means it's going to put an even amount on each side of that selected area. So it's going to make, if you did the inside, it would make your line on the inside of the dotted line. If you did the outside, obviously it would be the outside. You want to pick the color. So whatever color you want that to look like. And I'm going to do kind of a bright limey green there. And then hit OK. So now I've got this, you know, obviously it looks very cartoonish right now. This is not what it's going to look like when it's finished. So you want to deselect, so it takes away the dotted line. And remember, this stroke area, the line that we just created, is its own layer. So it's its own layer here. So if you can see there. What I want to do now is I want to make it blurry. I want to give it a blur. So if I go to Filter, Blur, and the Gaussian blur there, and again, I kind of determined ahead of time how much I wanted, so I'm at about 27. You can see what happens if you do less or more. So I want it to look like it's glowing, it's starting to have a glow. I still want to see the green. If you start to spread it out, you can still see that gold behind it, and I don't really want that. So again, the 27-ish worked good. So hit OK. And then from there, I'm going to duplicate that layer. So I'm going to make a second layer that's the exact same. So it's going to give it even more of a glow. The other thing with that is if you set that, you can see when you're kind of hovering over these, how the different, these different effects that you can pick. So that's normal. If you go through them all, you'll see, and I think it was the hard light is what I originally selected here. Oh, the color dodge. So when I did the first round of this, when I was kind of experimenting, I actually went with, you can tell it's a little less of a green and more of that chartreuse. So let me delete out these other ones. So I went with the color dodge here. So there's lighten, screen. The color dodge I thought was the one that appeared to be the most glowing. And if you wanted to add a second layer, so again, if you just duplicate that layer, so we just right click and hit duplicate, it will give you an even more of a glow. So that's without it and that's with it. And then from here, what we're going to do is we're going to use one of the Urban Rhino Photoshop actions. And I am in the Charlotte collection right now, which is great for outside photos, editing those. But I'm actually using a sun action. So this is great if you're trying to put a sun in the sky, but I also love them because it's a radial glow. I like them for doing something like this. So I'm going to use the one that says geranium and just hit continue. Let me get my actions off of there. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller, and you need to move it where you want it to go, and it needs to go even smaller than that. Okay, and I'm going to place it right over the staff, and I don't want it to be purple. So by default, that action has like a purple color. So if you click on the gradient, and I'm going to of course include a link to how you can or where you can purchase our Photoshop actions, of course. But on here, you can see the purple bar that's selected. So if I click on that, I want to pick a kind of a green color up in here. So I already have one that I picked ahead of time, E5C. And so that is the color that I want to do, and then hit OK. Hit OK here. So you can see it's going to give it this nice green glow. If you wanted the glow to be larger, not that large, I'm getting crazy. So a little bit bigger of a glow there, you could, so you can see it. It's completely up to you, and what you prefer, how much of a glow you're looking for. If you want it to reach all the way to her face, it could. You could also do a couple layers of these. So, you can have one that's a smaller, circle of glow, I guess we'll call it, a smaller little burst, and then one that's larger with a lower opacity. So it kind of looks like the glow is getting less, obviously, as it gets away from the staff, which is what would be the most realistic. So I've played around with these again ahead of time. So this is what I ended up with. I've got the bigger glow here. I created a copy of it to give it even more of a glow. And then from there, I did one more that was kind of inside, and that's giving it the even brighter glow here. So when you zoom out, you can see now this kind of, you can still see the enough of the ball, the top part of the staff. You can still see her hands through there. It's not blocking her face, but it definitely appears like the staff is glowing. If you wanted to knock it down some so that you can see more of the staff, so for instance, removing that layer, or if you wanted to adjust the opacity a bit, which I do think I might a little here. So a little more like that. Still gives it a good glow, but you can still see the staff itself. It's not just completely gone. And you can see by me removing each of these layers what happens. So that takes off some of that. These layers in here are the inside. So again, if you were going to make an object that's not a perfect, circle like this glow, you would want to select the entire area that you want to glow. You would do the stroke tool that we did, create, make sure it's its own separate layer, use the blur, and then you can kind of mess around with the layer properties here and how you want them to appear. Okay, those are going to give it a lot of different effect there. Okay, so I hope that helped you guys. I'm going to get this back to what it was on. I think we were on hard light. There we go. So at this point, I am going to let you watch the rest of the video, so you'll get to see how I got to this point, editing and creating the composite, and then you'll see the start and finish. So thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you stay connected with Urban Rhino on social media. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, comment below, and of course, subscribe to our channel.